Good morning and welcome to a dreary day in the South Downs National Park. Fortunately, I've been enjoying my morning aboard my partner in crime for the day, the Merida 96 XT. This bike just fits and suits me absolutely perfectly. The 96 is Merida's cross-country race bike. The design's influenced heavily by their World Cup cross-country team. The 29er XT version we've got here has a carbon mainframe with an aluminium rear triangle. As the name suggests, the drivetrain is full XT 2x11, which works telepathically flawlessly. You never have to think about it, you just press the buttons and it changes gear. The bike also has XT hydraulic brakes. Whenever I ride a bike with XT brakes, I never fail to be impressed by the control and the power on offer. So I've been riding for a couple of hours now, which is enough time to tune the riding position and formulate my impressions of the bike. My first thought is it's a very good looking bike. The detail around the shock linkage is particularly neat. However, I'm not too keen on the bird's nest of cables at the front of the bike. If this was my bike, I'd have to do something to tidy the routing. Some of the cables are for the single lockout, which activates the fox fork and the rear shock. This lever has 3 positions. There's fully open for technical sections, an intermediate damped position which reduces pedal-induced movement when you're putting the power down, and then finally there's an absolutely rock-solid full lockout position. There's a single lever, as I say, to control both, which is neat, but it would be nice if the release lever let you drop back to the intermediate setting from fully locked out instead of dropping you right back to open. It's not a big deal, but in the heat of battle it is an extra button press. While I'm talking of things I'd like to change, for me the biggest letdown with this bike is probably the wheels. Although it's called an XT, the wheels, as you can see, are actually Dior. And this means they are quite heavy, so they do sap some of the speed away from what is an otherwise very light and brutally efficiently fast cross-country race bike. The ride I've done today has had a couple of longer steady climbs, and it's just munched its way very happily up those, and I've just brought it along here to have a quick thrash around Midhurst Common, where it really does excel. It's very stable, very precise handling, inspires lots of confidence, and you can just flick it through the trees very nicely. One of the things I've noticed is that I've set the sag on the rear shock at 15%, but there was some noticeable suspension bob when pedalling hard in the big ring, even in the mid-damp setting. So what I did was I changed to using the smaller chainring, and that's where I spent most of the day. And on long climbs I've been sitting in that chainring, and it's actually been very efficient. The good news is that the suspension retains its sensitivity to small bumps, even at slow speed. And then on the common here, there's been some high-speed, rooty descents. And yeah, it's been brilliant and fabulous. It's just really nicely absorbed all the hits as you're coming down that, like the descent down here, and just enables you to carry your speed. So in summary, it's been a great morning. It's just one of those bikes that's felt right straight away. I'm 5'10" and this is a medium-sized frame. I literally set the saddle height, adjusted the controls, and I felt middly right at home. Talking of the Pro Logo saddle, it isn't for me. I've taken to pushing it right back on the rails and sitting slightly on the nose, but you know, saddles are a personal thing. So in summary, it's been a really good ride despite the weather. It's perfect, this bike, for a ride like today where I'm munching the miles with some fun technical bits thrown in.